Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Vintage Geek Extra play-along here. This is Technician Justin, and today we are playing a little bit, by which I mean most likely the entirety, of Goldeneye 007 here. Obviously, this is a dead-on classic. This is a game that is more well remembered than maybe anything except for maybe Mario 64 from the PlayStation in 64. Was it the fifth generation of video games? But yeah, so we're going to take a look at it here. Probably an entire playthrough for a variety of reasons, including the fact that I am sort of cheating here. I'm actually using a mouse and keyboard. It's a mouse injector for the emulator 1964, and it allows me to use a mouse and keyboard to play this game, which is not how it was designed to be played at all, but nonetheless, I find it very fun. I can make it through the game pretty quickly still, even with just a controller. I did play a ton of this game. I think unlike most people that have a super fond memory of it, very few of my memories of this game are multiplayer, which will come as no surprise to people who know me. I very, very, very rarely ever play any multiplayer games. I just don't get anything out of competing in any way. Not a fan, don't enjoy it. Even when I win, still does nothing for me. But as you can see, I have pretty much every enemy location in this game in the single player fully memorized. So I can just like whiz through here just blasting dudes. And that's exactly what we're going to do. This is a playthrough on the Agent difficulty, which is the easiest. Mostly because that's the one that I remember the best, but also just for the sake of the playthrough. You know, this is not meant to be like an educational demonstration of what Goldeneye was. I'd say probably 90% of people, not only our current viewers, but people who simply would watch a video of a video game, probably already know Goldeneye pretty well. And I screwed up because I did not go after the guy who runs and triggers the alarm. That was dumb on my part. Oh well, mission's compromised. Time to just annihilate everybody. Because that's what Goldeneye is. That's really the heart of the James Bond franchise, is when he tries to do stealth and he fails, so he just starts annihilating people with an assault rifle. I think a big part of the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. Let's see here. So, one of the cool things about this game that I feel like very few games made in this vein really seem to understand. People will talk about like making successors to GoldenEye and stuff like that, but I think a big part of what makes this game so fun is it creates a world, it creates a level for you to play through, but it gives you specific objectives, and that changes it from, you know, you have the Doom style, which is like the objective is the same in every level. You're just running through until you get to the exit, or the boss, I guess, in the last level. And then a lot of games, also, especially now, go the Call of Duty route, where you're dropped into a level and you're given objectives, but all of those objectives are basically just excuses for you to get from one battle scene to another. It's not stuff that you can fail to do, I guess is the way that I would say it. Just killing time right now, just killing people for no reason, just like James Bond does. You know, the part in the movie where he's like, oh, I gotta get away on this plane. And then he runs around a basement facility just blasting dudes on the way, even though he could just go jump off the cliff. Bungee out of here. But anyway, Goldeneye, I think one of the things that makes me keep coming back to this is that the missions that the game gives you are, you can either fail or complete. You have to complete them all, but the idea that it just kind of gives you, okay, you need to do this, this, and this. It doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter if you get caught. It doesn't matter if you have to shoot your way out of something. You just need to accomplish these 3 objectives. Or 2 objectives, or whatever it is. Again, needless killing. But I do have full ammo now for my K7, which I think is an AK-47. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so that's what gets me about this game, is like just being dropped into an open world and being told, hey, do these 3 things. Doesn't matter what order you do them in, just do them. And I think this one, yeah, it's just escape. So basically all of the stuff that I said just now does not apply at all to this level, because in this level the goal is just run through the level, survive, and then jump off of this cliff, which is basically an exit. As you can see here, Bond did not take the time to actually attach a bungee cord or anything like that. He just kind of jumped off the cliff, and I guess it worked out, because we're about to go to the next level. One of the best introductory levels in the history of video games, the facility level. That first level, I see that they wanted to make the point that the game, you know, is action-packed and has a lot to do. But I really feel like this is the level where the game made it clear that this is not, like, this is an entirely new type of video game. Of course, you know, we had stealth stuff like that before, you know, as far back as, like, Castle Wolfenstein on the Apple II. But the combination of the enemy AI working independently, the combination of that with... Oh, I'm having mouse trouble now. There we go. Yeah, the combination of that, like, independent enemy AI, even if the game is, like, clearly I haven't been shot yet. So, you know, it's pretty easy here with the mouse and keyboard options. But even with the controller, and even honestly, even with the mouse and keyboard, stuff can happen that you don't expect. Even now, even after I've beaten this game probably 30 times in my life. I think about 20 of those were between 1997 and 1999. But yeah, it makes the point, like, the last one, doesn't matter what you do. You can just run through, blast everybody, and jump off the cliff. Even in the later levels, not really too difficult. Whoa. There we go. Yeah, I lost my train of thought there, but that's okay. Yeah, so this level really demonstrates how the different objectives make this game so much different. So, like if we can look at the objectives here now. Gain entry to the laboratory area, that's just location based. But then you have like rendezvous with 006, destroy all tanks in bottling room, and minimize scientist casualties. So you can't just run through the level blasting everybody you see, because the scientists are not enemy combatants. They're just dudes that are being forced to work on this stuff, I guess. They all do seem to run away in a lot of situations, so I'm assuming it's something like that. Really love that they have to complete the roll animation and then stand up again before they can actually die. That's obviously super fun. There we go. Yeah, baby. Everybody's dead. I used to play this game a lot more stealthily because I used to be a lot worse at it. But there's stuff like so one of the things that I think is cool about this, and I believe it's probably a remnant of, you know, some unfinished objective that they decided not to use. But this game is full of stuff like that. And it adds a surprising amount of value to the game. Just because... Oh, well, it looks like Dr. Doak, based on, I think the game's director, David Doak. I guess he can spawn in here, and that's maybe the one thing that could make you need to come in this room. Of course, I'm playing on a difficulty where you don't actually have to find Dr. Doak, so, you know, that's okay. But, yeah, it's just like an extra room that's here for, like, no real reason. And that's interesting from a gameplay perspective. You know, once you have played the game a million times like I have, and you can just, like, whiz through all the levels in, like, 2 seconds, and you know every route and everything you need to take. When you're first playing the game, which I think is the fairest way to really criticize it, it seems like it's just like this unfolding area that is just full of stuff to do. And even though, like, I would say that this would probably be caught in the new trend of recognizing liminal spaces that seems to have exploded with Gen Z and Gen Alpha. You know, big spaces here are empty and don't really have a lot in them, but for the time, it was really cool that there were just, like, it felt like this was an actual facility of some sort, as opposed to a video game level. Like, you know, it's not shaped in ways that, you know, create challenges or anything like that. It's just, you know, random rooms, like all of these. I don't think that there's a use in any of the difficulty levels, which have different objectives. I don't think that these chemical rooms are used at all, aside from being a place that Dr. Doak can spawn. There's all this stuff over here, which I think people have conjectured is part of an expanded objective that didn't get used here. Let's see here. So you can't go in most of those rooms, I don't believe. I don't think there's anything, like, actually back there. What's up, Sean Bean? Guess you're gonna get killed again, like you always do. Here we go. It was too easy, Alec. I killed 49 people. I also like that if you set up your explosions immediately, you set up your mines immediately, Bond just stands there looking at his watch while Trevelyan talks. And kaboom! There. I just justified the rest of the game here. Now Bond actually is responsible for 006's death. And they did have the wisdom to kind of bookend that level, because that level was, you know, being a new type of exploration in a shooter, in many ways. They wisely chose to bookend it with very simple, borderline mindless levels. The dam you do have to do a little bit, but this one, this level, once you pick up this key, I believe, let me double check. Yeah, once you pick up that key, you got nothing left in agent mode anyway. There are a couple of guns you have to destroy in the higher difficulties. But for here, you can run around the corner here in this runway, and there's a tank just sitting there, and you can actually get in the tank. This was mind-blowing to me as a child. It really, really makes the rest of the level trivial. Because not only can it fire shells, you can also just run dudes over while they shoot at you. It makes these horrific crunching noises. Oh. This is one of the aforementioned guns that you have to destroy, and I can't seem to drive this tank. Okay, there we go. Not something I had to do, just something I enjoy. Aiming, not so great in this game. Gonna back this thing up. Back that thing up. To the plane here. We're gonna just fly away with a chain gun annihilating my little puddle hopper. Another cool thing about this game is that it has these target times and stuff like that. If you beat a game in a certain amount of, a level in a certain amount of time, on certain difficulties, you unlock cheats, which was really fun. Never quite learned how to speedrun levels the way that I need to, because I would get caught up with dumb stuff like murdering everybody instead of doing my objectives. Wow, that doesn't look good. I don't think it loaded in his head texture yet. Like, I know everybody in this game looks blocky, but that was, like, perfectly square. This was a really cool level, too. Weirdly, for the opposite reason of the facility. This is just, like, one big open area. And, yeah, see, there we can... yeah, it loaded in the texture once we zoomed in. But yeah, you can literally see, like, most of the enemies in the level all at once, once you're up on these snowdrifts. With the trade-off, of course, that they can also see you, which can send people after you that you don't even know where they're coming from. But there's still a lot of exploring to do, which I think really balances the level out. You can do a lot of stuff in here that you don't necessarily have to do that is fun. Here in the agent difficulty, all we got to do is shut down this satellite without blowing it up, I believe. We'll see, I guess. I think it's the first time. So you come to this exact area twice, and I think the first time you have to turn the computer off, and you get punished if you try to blow it up. And then in the second level, you have to blow it up, and if you try to turn it off, you get punished, and you fail the objective. So that's a fun little switcheroo there that I can never seem to remember. Yeah, that's some serious texture pop-in problems here. Oof. Yeah, that did not look good. Start firing this rocket or grenade launcher wildly into the air. See if I can get in this bunker. And there we go. We fall into the next level. Apparently I've got the new best time. Neat. And then with this level, we get a return to sort of the creeping and killing of the facility level. It actually pays off to be quiet. Apparently not too much, because all of these guys seem to know I'm here. Security cameras, of course, the bane of first-person shooters. So easy to just run past a camera and not realize that it's even there. And then all of a sudden you've got all of these super powerful armored troops coming after you. That's another good example of a cool thing that this game did. You could literally shoot a guy's hat off. That was, you know, it was... If that was ever done in a game before this, I'm pretty sure that it was part of the gameplay. Or, well, of course, it's part of the gameplay here. That's a stupid thing to say. I guess a better way of saying that would be it was like a binary thing. You could shoot, and the hat would come off in certain situations. But in this one, it actually feels like it's a physical hat. Presumably because it is. It's like an actual separately modeled object on top of their head. Another thing I like about this game is that you can just kill people in front of a security camera. It doesn't matter. They don't pay any attention. You shoot a guy in the head, and his head blows, just clean blows his head off. And they're like, oh, his head must have just done that. That's weird. Let's see here. Okay, stealth is out the window. I'm James Bond, and you're all dead. Who did I... Oh, there we go. Goodbye, Boris. I don't need you this time. One of the only games that I can think of anywhere, really, that allows you to play as Alan Cumming. And somebody can correct me if there is another example of that. But in the multiplayer mode, you can play as Alan Cumming, as his programmer character, Boris. Here, you can have that key back. I'm not going to steal it, I just want to copy it and see what it does. So that way the rest of the plot can unfold. Oh, I was also supposed to... Who's shooting me? Where's that coming from? Oh, yeah, I guess there's some guys up there. Alright. It's... Once you've played this game a lot, and especially when you're using a mouse and keyboard like I am, it does start to feel a little trivial. being shot at. Bond just stops and looks around. Huh. Can't tell where those bullets are coming from. My James Bond is American. Obviously. Mostly because I don't want to do a terrible Cockney accent, which is exactly what a James Bond impersonation would boil down to. So we'll avoid that for now. Okay, pretty good mission. Did everything I was supposed to do. This is not even from the movie. I should know. This is a completely separate level that they added in. But the other thing about it is that it's awesome. It's this very tight corridor level. I'm having trouble here with my mouse. It seems to be losing. Let me see. Fix that here. Seems to keep losing the signal. It's a wireless mouse. That's what I get, I guess, for using a wireless mouse. Well, good job there, bud. Got my key card. That's all that matters. So in the higher difficulties, what you're supposed to do is plant bombs. Plastic explosives on these walls. Which turns the level into a very tense race for time. And you're just like running through these tight little hallways and corridors and stuff. Probably very fun to speedrun, if I were to guess. It's got some weird... Man, there's a lot of stuff blowing up there. That guy's face... And we'll see it again in a second, because there's only like 6 faces in this game that get used. That guy looks like Stryker from Mortal Kombat 3 to me. I don't know why. Always has. Similarly, the wooden stock here on the AirSats AK-47. You know, as a kid, I didn't know what an AK-47 was. So to me, like, I always assumed that the brown part was like copper for some reason. And it's like I'm just using a giant Duracell battery to kill people. Now, of course, I know that the AK-47 is not produced by Duracell. Although, I don't know, with the oligarchy of companies that produce things, I'm sure in some way there's some venture capital group or something that owns both Duracell and the factory that makes AK-47s. But the AK-47, of course, often has a wooden stock rather than the copper top. This is a weird hallway, because if I remember correctly, this is the one where everybody has... everybody in that hallway has 100% accuracy, which means even if they fire way off the mark, they still manage to hit you. This level also one of the hardest ones in the game for young me, because I could not, I had no idea what was a satellite and what wasn't. So I never knew what to photograph or to do anything with. Picked up Oromov's briefcase, which is an item that does nothing. But we have it. That's the important thing. Armov, of course, because he's needed by the plot, is unkillable. Which makes for an interesting dichotomy in the world of James Bond, that you have people who are just invincible until you kill them in a cool. Alright, silo down. This is another one of my favorite levels. Because it actually creates quite a bit of tension even on the agent level. This is probably the most, the level that I have to replay the most when I play through this game, because you have to free these hostages, and that relies on you being able to move quickly enough to actually stop the ones trained to kill you. Hostage released. The sweetest words in the English. Oh, whoops. I think that's what the police refer to as a suicide that guy just committed. And we're gonna go and take his body and bury it in the field with the other 700 suicides that cops accidentally forced to happen. I can never remember where most of the hostages are. Have vague ideas, but one weird thing about this game is that for some reason something about the actual level design, as real as it feels, it also is often hard to tell exactly. It's kind of hard to tell the exact shape of the place that you're in, and like what's above you or what's below you or anything like that. The really good levels you can absolutely see. There we go, objective A completed. Now we don't have to give a crap about those hostages. Q has allowed me to be weapons free, so now I'm going to take this submachine gun and just annihilate some dudes while I try to get off of this boat. Yeah, there's something satisfying in this game about just like unloading on a guy with a gun. Don't be filthy. But yeah, it's something feels very tactile about the way that you shoot people in this game. Like, it feels like they're really just getting like ripped up by those bullets. It can make it very satisfying, like if you're frustrated, say if you're an 8-year-old boy playing this game and trying to beat it and failing. It feels good to just take out the biggest gun you've got and just start blasting guys. Murk some random Russian soldiers. I went all that way around and still came out at the chopper where I was just. For some reason, when it comes to first-person shooters, I am extremely navigationally challenged. Because I'm not exaggerating, I've probably beaten this game 30 times, and I still have not completely memorized every single nook and cranny of the game. Oh, that's right, they don't give you a sniper rifle in this one. This level of the game obviously takes place in the Hell Uprising, where Oramov summons a bunch of demons from hell, and it's the end of the world. And then you turn off his satellite and everything's fine. It's the only explanation I can think of for this grim hellscape that I'm running through right now. kind of a bummer. All of these cabins are empty. Not all of them, but a lot of them are empty. I think it's meant to show that the base is being disused. Yeah. The other thing, of course, is that they added security cameras, and when you don't know that those security cameras are there, it is very easy to walk directly into their path and get caught by them. That guy that I just killed in the blue are the enemies that spawn when you get caught by them. And except that they have about 4 times the amount of health, that being the only real difference. Thankfully, they have the worst gun in the game, maybe the single worst gun in video game history, the Clob. This thing, based on the, what is it, Scorpion automatic pistol, I think. Just took an entire clip to actually hit that gun. It is wildly inaccurate for some reason. I honestly feel like that may have been an accident somehow. This thing also does practically no damage compared to most other weapons, so you do kind of have to just dump ammo. Which is not ideal a lot of the time. Let's see if I can remember where I'm going, where this bunker is that I'm looking for. Another part of the problem is that I have played this game on like every difficulty multiple times. And a lot of the time I will go in the path that I use in 00 Agent, just to complete something that I could have done in like 16 seconds on Agent difficulty. This little area right here is really fun in the first level, because it's just full of these explosive boxes. And if you're a fan of destroying things in video games, which I certainly am, it can be a lot of fun to do that. Yeah, see, if I'd been playing this on like 00 Agent difficulty, it would have taken like 4 clips to kill all those guys. Blow up that helicopter. So yeah, this is not the right way. I think this is where you go to open a safe with plans or something in it. The Clob, of course, named after Nintendo and later Rare employee Ken Lobb, who also I found out started at a company before Nintendo, and I can't place it now. It was like a smaller developer. It was like Imagineer was Japanese. It was an American company. Maybe Midway? Maybe that's where he started? I don't know. I'd have to look it up again. But, yeah, did a lot of great work at Nintendo, particularly during the N64 era. My #1 primary memory of him, and the reason that I knew that this gun was named after him, even in my childhood when it was new, is because they made a VHS cassette tape that they sent out to everybody who was a subscriber to Nintendo Power magazine. And this magazine, this videotape, had them discussing like what made the N64 cool and the new features that it had. And for some reason, I don't know if this is just like autistic echolalia or what, but for whatever reason, I can still remember to this day him saying, The control stick is cool. Really, just nothing there. But for some reason has stayed with me since I first watched that tape. What, 30 years ago now? Yikes. I am old son. Another cool trick. There are throwing knives down there. And that makes this level a really fun, unintentional gimmick level. Because now I can just toss these knives at people and keep picking them back up. Gotta get out of the way of that camera, because they'll forget that they saw me. There we go. Back to the knives, baby. There we go. I want to say this is the only appearance of the throwing knives. It seems like there were a lot of weapons that they added to this game that were not actually used anywhere. There's a shotgun. There's also an automatic shotgun that gets used in the statue levels, we'll see. But there was also a regular shotgun. It was terrible. At least in the level that I used it in, which is like a fan-made level. There's a weird taser that seems to just be a pistol, except it's shaped like a box. Let's see, there's the Colt Magnum, which I think is called the Cowboy Magnum in this one. They had to rename a lot of the things because of a lot of the guns, because originally they were just named after the real guns. And I guess didn't realize that they have to get approval from the monsters that make the gun in order to use the name, so... Go back to the knives. Always gonna go back to them knives. Oh, whoa! What the heck? Practically lost an arm there. So far, Natalia has seen me placed into a cell, and then 30 seconds later broke out. And went around the base just annihilating everybody that worked there, all of her former coworkers. Except for Boris, who she gets mad if you kill. You always end up losing some of the knives. Like, I don't know, they seem to, like, go through walls or something. Oh, there's one. Sometimes you find them. Natalia, probably the most famous, the most famous person with a horrible head wound. The most famous, escort mission in the history of video games. Definitely one of the worst until later in the game when they finally give her a gun. They really did Natalia dirty in this game because she is so irritating in so many ways. If you let her get close enough to any of the computers in here, you have to sit and wait while she messes around with it, which is not necessary. Let's see if we can blow up the computer. Oh, that's not the right one. Oh no. Yes, we do have to escape, so we don't have time for you to play around with the computer. And that's exactly how they did her dirty. They made her so irritating in these first levels. Again, I'm breezing through them, so it doesn't really demonstrate it. But when you're on the higher difficulties, or if you're a child playing the lower difficulties, she seems to put herself in front of every gun that she can. We'll very often see something plot relevant that she wants to touch, so she'll run out in front of like 7 guys with assault rifles firing at her, and she can take about 3 or 4 hits before she goes down. So really, really irritating in these first levels. She gets a little bit better once she has a gun, and then you get to the control level, and in that one she is just as irritating because she can't actually fire the gun, so you're just wiping out guys and trying to protect her and all that kind of stuff. This level, based on an old Soviet statue park, I guess they had all this stuff just kind of dumped it out of a... Like, the way that everything is in here, it literally looks like they just, for every piece of this, just backed a truck up and then just, like, let down the gate, backed up as fast as they could, and stopped and just let it fly out of the back of the truck. Fantastic music in this game. A lot of really memorable tracks. Graham Norgate, I think, was the primary... I fear they may mistake me for a spy. Bitch. One of the rare cases where the game will allow you to kill somebody who is plot relevant and who actually shows up later in the game. I just shot Valentin in the head, and somehow in a few minutes he's gonna, or in a few levels, he's gonna reappear. A-OK. Well, I say A-OK, and really... Oh man, where am I going? I think I've got myself lost. Oh, there we go. I just stopped this. Or did I? What did I do? Okay, that's right. There's like a little corner. And I think that big hand that they put in there has body armor. Yes. Take that. Not that I need it. The agent difficulty is made to just kind of like introduce you to the idea of doing objectives, and it's the secret agent and 00 agent levels that really implement them. But I would really love to see a version of Goldeneye, the movie, where Bond just runs from one room to another, just shooting guys. Occasionally stopping to press a button or something like that. Alright, now we got shotgun. We're gonna use it because this is the only level where you get to. I think. I don't think there's another level that has the shotgun in it. Some of those weapons, I think they may be just designed for the multiplayer, which the multiplayer, we actually caught up to 006 here. And of course he vanished, as all 00 agents can. As far as I'm concerned, if a guy that I knew was blown up in a gas explosion by a mine, I would assume that he was a ghost if I saw him again. So, I don't think it's unreasonable that James Bond would as well. Now we're going to go wait Natalia up and hope that she runs away far enough from the helicopter here that she doesn't die, as often happens. Hey, how's it going? Man, that statue park is messed up. Stand unarmed by the gates, and I'll come and save you eventually. Going through the worst objective in this game, although we got lucky and found it very early. I think that there are like some predetermined areas where the flight recorder from the helicopter can show up. Let's just bypass all these guards. How's it going? How's it going, Mish? Defense Minister Michigan. The Mish. Now into probably my least favorite game. Least favorite level in the game. Do really love that you get to use the DD-44 because it's so loud. It does good damage, but it's so loud and it's awesome. Choo! Always love to use the DD-44. Oh yeah, in this one we get double DDs. A positive in any situation, but particularly in Goldeneye. 2 sets of double Ds. Let's see here. For the rest of my life, I could play this level every day for the rest of my life, and I would not remember where anything is. And to make things worse, you have to be careful, at least for the way that I play the game, you have to be super careful to kill as many of the pre-existing guards as you can, and then hope and pray that Natalia doesn't get scared by the gunfire into running away from you. Because once that happens, you're just wandering around doing nothing for forever, and it's super boring. That's our escape. I think maybe this level has like multiple places you can escape and beat the level, but I hate this level so much that I just memorized one and rushed to it as fast as I possibly can. Those N64 MIDI horns. Hey, don't just run away from me because some guy walked in the room. I'm gonna shoot you in the back. Oh, and I think she ran away, which means I'm gonna have to figure out where she went. Fortunately, she went up in the roof. This is the easiest place to find her. I do not remember where any of the other places that she runs to are. We need to talk to Defense Minister Michigan. I'm not too worried about it. I'll text him everything that happened here. Just, hey, what's up, Mish? Can you maybe go and check that flight recorder? Should have all the details on it. Later, bud. Then I send him a meme of the This Is Fine guy. A KC Green Dog. You might want to listen to the flight recorder to find out how General Oramov is a traitor. And then the Kermit meme. But that's none of my business. I think that meme still gets used. It's not... The world is not entirely Skibbity Toilet yet. I know nothing about Skibbity Toilet except for the fact that it is made in... it's made in Gary's mod. And if you told me that the biggest meme in the country in, you know, 2022 or whenever Skibidi Toilet became big, if you told me that it was a Gmod meme was going to be the biggest meme in the world with children that late, I would have been absolutely incredulous. I would not have believed a word that came out of your mouth. If you said, "Hey, the biggest meme in 2022 is gonna be made in Gmod, and also your house is on fire, so you should get out," I would burn to death. Hey, there he is. Now, hey man, I know I did blow your head off a minute ago, but can you make a phone call and kind of slow stuff down, please? This is actually a model of Robbie Coltrane, most famous, other than his role here, as the giant from Harry Potter. Hagrid, that's his name. Very likable actor. I believe he passed away a few years ago, which is unfortunate, but always fun to see him move. Also, for some reason, I always get him confused with John Rhys Davies, and I don't know why, because they don't really look that much alike or play similar roles, or I don't even think they're in any of the same movies. So I don't know where I made that association. I guess it's just one of those things. I have a really hard time remembering who certain people are. Up until literally just a couple of years ago, I thought Jenna Jameson and Jenny McCarthy were the same person. I did not even realize that they were just so identical in my head that I didn't even know that they were separate people. I also like that they took the time to make it so that if you hit somebody, if you hit one of the guys, but you don't fully run over them, you just kind of knock them back. Whoops, sorry. Just trying to back up my Cybertruck here. Whoops. Hey Q, this is James. Hey, accidentally ran over a citizen today. How many did you run over, James? Oh, just one. I did blow up another one when he accidentally ran across a minefield. Well, as long as it's not 3 dead citizens, it doesn't matter. This is another level that's kind of a maze, but it's at least a fun maze to go through. Adding a tank. If you could drive a tank If you could drive a tank in the archives, I would absolutely drive a tank in the archives. Also, I will say, Archives is one of the single-player levels that got reused as a multiplayer level. And it's way more fun in the multiplayer than in the single-player. Probably because Natalia's in it. I believe this is the exit. Run these dudes over, blow up their jeeps. Coming through. Secret agent coming through. Excuse me, everyone. I'm a top secret agent that's legally not supposed to be here. This is maybe the best section of the game. Honestly, these next couple of levels here. Really fun layout. This is probably a good time to talk about the fact that my like dream game, and I say that literally because it has actually happened in my dreams several times. My dream game is, if I were to make a game, my dream game would be like a first-person shooter style game where you're in an apartment building that is just, or a hotel or something like that is full of just doors, just hallways and hallways of doors, and every door has a different like a different storyline in it. You break in and you find out this guy's a drug addict, and that's why you never see him come out of his apartment. Or this old lady worked for the CIA. Like, I don't know how I would do it. I wouldn't want it to be like an end of the world kind of thing. But I also would not want it to be supernatural or anything like that. Just like, for some reason, use that, surrealist excuse of this happened for some reason. Anyway, figure out all of these stories. And this is probably the closest to this that most games have ever gotten. You find this room full of arms, like I guess smuggled arms or stockpiled stuff. Let's see, do I have a grenade? Oh, I do have those mines, that's right. These are proximity mines. Probably would be very useful for me to use, but, you can just kind of shoot people and that works just as well. Interesting. Oh well. Didn't need any of that stuff. The gun I already have, and a gun that has no ammo. Let's see. I think on agent difficulty, you're just trying to get out. Let's see if I can remember how to do that. And it certainly doesn't seem that way. Hey, there's the trick. Let's do this trick here. Not kill these guys, because then... Oh, huh. I wonder if they changed that. I feel like if you walked in there with the rocket launcher out, he would try to shoot the soldiers with a rocket launcher. This is probably my favorite level in the entire game. Maybe my favorite level in any first-person shooter ever. Just these like really tight corridors. You're heading straight forward. All there is to do is blast these guys and get to the end. And to do that, they give you, well, they don't give you. You have to blow up this box over here. But if you do it, you get an RCP-90. Which I believe was accidentally massively overpowered. I believe they tried to set the value for the hexadecimal value for like 20 or something like that, and didn't realize that it used plain numbers, or the other way around. It might have been that they tried to use plain numbers and it was expecting hexadecimal, but it resulted in this gun having 80 bullets instead of like 15, which was supposed to be the weapon's weak point, was that it doesn't have a lot of ammo, it just fires it very fast. But thankfully they messed that up, so now this thing is just like God's ultimate killing machine, and you're just annihilating that. And I think you were supposed to be excited when you got the ZMG, which I think is based on the Uzi. But this thing is just so powerful. Even for people who are not serial reloaders like I am, I, for whatever reason, am very OCD about always making sure that my gun is loaded. There we go. Okay. We stopped the train, which brings these two guys out to play. Now they're dead. Some kind of key. Oh. Alright. Messed that up, I guess. That was supposed to be Ormarov. And Trevelyan and Xenia Onatop, who we have not seen so far in this game. Lady, we really don't have time for what you're doing here. Smart. Awesome. What a cool chick. Ugh. Alright, let's try that. Fortunately, this is a level that takes like a minute and a half to complete. So, you're not really losing a whole lot by playing it again. Man, it took a lot of headshots to kill those guys. That is not normal. I wish somebody would remake this game in VR. I think this game with like all of the like hiding spots and you know, leaning around corners and stuff like that. I feel like you could just dump that type of movement into this game if it's, assuming of course that it is, you know, possible programming wise, to accommodate that kind of movement, that kind of fluid movement. It would be really cool to see it implemented in this game, because I think it'd be very fun to like run through these levels. Of course, the game does have a duck feature that you can use, but it's so slow and unwieldy and difficult to pull off in the middle of a firefight that it usually doesn't make a whole lot of sense to try to hide, unless you are just, you know, have no health left and you're willing to play through the game really slowly. Did I get that brake lever thing back there? I sincerely cannot remember. You got murked. Let's see if this does it. Yes. Okay. Didn't miss it. Did miss a guard. But that's okay. Let's see. This may give us an opportunity to actually see. Yeah, so this is what you're supposed to see. You can kill both of them. Okay. Now I think we're safe. Laser off this door just like you do in the movie, except here it's very slow and awkward. I guess it kind of was. That is the computer out of action. We'll probably locate the Janus base by just going there. Good luck with the floor, James, he says as I've already escaped. Shouldn't take more than a minute, especially now that you're already on the outside. Alright, lady, let's get out of here. Natalia is already like, oh, James here. When they've known each other for all of about 30 minutes. And even in that amount of time, most of it was spent in jail. And the rest of it, they were being shot Popping these dudes. This is in Cuba. I don't know if these are supposed to be Soviets. I mean, they're definitely not Cubans. They all look like they're, you know, English, but... So, an interesting theory that I saw the other day, I want to say on... I think the channel is called Goose Boose's... oh, what is it? Goose Boose's folklore. He's kind of a speedrunning based channel, which I'm not super into usually. I'm fine with speedruns, but they are so different from what I like about video games. I say as I breeze through this game like it's nothing. Have it all memorized, and I can work around corners and never have to worry about dying. Oh, shoot. Anyway, yeah, speedrun's not really my thing. It seems like a way of turning a single-player game into a competitive multiplayer game. And I'm just not... As I said at the beginning of this video, I get absolutely nothing from competition, no matter what it is, what the situation is. I'm not even going to go into my beliefs on competition. This is probably not the venue, since you're just here to watch me play some Goldeneye. Okay. But anyway, yeah, so in that video, he conjectures that, all of that boss theme, and I just blow her head off the second she gets off the bridge. Anyway, yeah, those mines that you start out with, it's not entirely clear why you have them. There's no objective that requires you to use them. They're very helpful, as you can see right back there, for killing Xenia, which is what I always assumed it was for. But somebody conjectured, so originally the way that the game was designed, they planned on having essentially just one big level. Like the whole game takes place in one big open world, and you just go from, or I guess not an open world exactly, it's not like you can skip ahead. But they give you those mines, and somebody thinks that because in the next level, and we'll see it here in a minute, but you have to blow up a bunch of control panels. And a lot of people, I think that it is that grenade went off. I think a lot of people think that the reason that you have the mines in this level is because you were supposed to carry them through the jungle and then use them in the control room. Which is interesting. I would have loved to have seen a game where you just, like, move through these large open worlds and have to, like, preserve ammo and stuff like that, because it's continuous. Let's see, did I do everything here? Yes. Alright, lady, come on. Sometimes if she's too far away from where you are, you get dinged for abandoning her. This level and the next one, though, the jungle level, control center, I think maybe the dawn of my moving from being a kid who just, you know, assumes he's not going to beat any of the games that he plays because he's too little, to actually settling down and focusing on one game until I finish it. And my friend Matthew and I used to play it. It was actually kind of a cool situation for this time because his parents converted their attic which was like the size of the house, but like obviously cramped. James, you were wonderful. It was so attractive the way that you shot all of those men you don't know. Yeah, he had a converted attic that we could play in. That was his bedroom. It was awesome. It was like a loft if you lived in the very top of the loft. But it took me so long to beat the jungle level that I ended up, by the time I beat it, I actually called his house at like 10 p.m. to be like, dude, I beat the level. I beat the jungle level. It's done. I did it. And then this level is like 1,000 times harder. This is, I think, unquestionably the most difficult level in the game. It's the only one, if I'm playing like with mouse and keyboard, or if I'm playing with, even with a controller, like this is really the only level that I sometimes lose. There's just a lot going on in it. The soldiers here do good damage. There are a lot of them, and here in a second they're going to start spawning in nonstop. Used to have a lot of fun doing this. So now it says, warning, ass only. That was something I did because I was an idiot as a child. But it's still funny to me. And I'll take that gun, please. Thank you. Now to beat you to the place that you're running to. Crawl through this little, I guess I can just walk through this cage, pick up this armor. Bye, Boris. I was never alive. I'll live on forever in your imagination. I, Alan Cumming. I love it because it uses that like bizarre like jock jams horn. Like that thing sounds like it's gonna be a part of like Whoop, There It Is. Odd choice for this game, but this also, I guess, was at the peak of the popularity of like drum and bass and English house and all that kind of stuff. Your Fat Boy Slims and whatnot. There we go. Okay. Drone guns. And I don't think there are any more dudes. Yeah, there we go. Let's get out of here. Never noticed that before, but the tiles kind of warp here. Huh. So many weird things in this game. The depot level that we beat a little while ago, I believe, has hidden graffiti of the Rare logo, which I thought was cool. I don't remember. So an important thing to do in this level is to blow up all of the computers that Natalia doesn't use, so that way she doesn't just stand there and absorb a ton of explosion damage, which is exactly what happens if you just let her go. I think I got that. It's not that one. I think there's one upstairs. Yeah, there we go. I think we go through here. And here, and that is what gets us Natalia. Natalia, as annoying as she can be in a lot of the levels, including this one, for that jungle level, she's incredibly useful. She's like an unstoppable killing machine. And she just annihilates every dude with like a magnum. Half the time before you even see them, she's blasting them. And she sits here and types with her gun in her hand. This is a lot, I will say, just as a warning, a lot different than the controller version in terms of your accuracy. In the N64 game, you had to hold down the R button, move the actual thing with the joystick, which was pretty inaccurate as far as like fine movement. I'm having a lot of trouble with this. Probably should have mentioned earlier, the only time I really ever have any true difficulty with this level is at the higher levels, higher difficulty levels. It's a lot easier to kill people in this mode than it is Secret Agent or 00 Agent. Also, way more ammo. One of the things that makes the later games a lot more difficult is that you are limited on the amount of ammo that you can find in a level. You can carry the same amount, but the guards drop just like a fraction of what they normally drop. And it can get really touchy there toward the end if you're trying to... shoot your way out of the level. I think they do that to encourage stealth, which would make sense. Okay, she's finally done. Who is doing that? Where is that coming from? Was he expecting that? Is he programmed to think that that's... No, there's nobody over here either. Where is that gunfire coming from? I'm not leaving this level until I figure out who was shooting at me. Just like James Bond. You kind of stand around until the person who was aiming at me presents himself. Until then, everybody gets punished by being shot to death. Look at all that ammo. Not gonna need any of that. I have it now. Let's see. So I think some of the other doors open up. Yeah, this one was locked before. Now I can shoot people. I think I gotta blow up that last computer, and I think that may be it. Yeah. Alright, that's all the computers. This took me months of real life time to actually get to this point in this game. This final little section here is relatively good. And you're supposed to see 006 run over to that elevator first, and then taunt you for the fact that you can't stop him. But instead, they just decided that, I guess for that one, Bond just finds an elevator and leaves. A little less dramatic that way, but, you know. These very slow, anus doors that they have here. I don't like the fact that you to spread this open to find a hole, and then you touch the hole to make it expand and open up. That is not appropriate for children in the slightest. Oh, you're not dead yet. Sorry. Okay, now we're starting to get some assault rifles. These things are really, really, really good guns. They're very powerful. This is definitely a breather level between the hard-ass levels that came before and the fairly difficult final level that we're about to get to. I may play the Aztec level. I probably will not play the Egyptian level. Both are non-canonical extra levels, but the Egyptian level requires you to walk this certain path, and there's no indication anywhere of what that path is. So you either just have to play the level over and over again until you figure out what it is, or you have to just cheat and use a guide. And I don't think that either of those things are particularly interesting. And I also don't think that that level is particularly compelling either. It's pretty fun in multiplayer. Just like it's a big maze of wide open areas. Let's see. So there's a secret here that I've never actually taken the time to look at online. So all of these contain guns, or I guess not all of them, but most of them contain guns. And you can get a lot of extra ammo that way. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's the next room, I think. So you get a lot of extra ammo from there. Oh, well. Guess I was wrong on all counts. We'll come back to this in a second. Blast these dudes. Just like a James Bond John Wick movie. It's just on the run, blasting dudes and reloading super fast. Hey, that's enough of that. Cut it out. Those guys will come after you later on. Fortunately, this is an extremely easy level and almost fully linear. So you just get to kind of rush through it. Don't show that guy for trying to run away. It's the only time I use the duck feature in this game, is to make it look like James Bond is like doing squats while he's waiting for... Oh no, we can't contact Jodan Baker. So this is the room that I was thinking of a minute ago. Shoot these guys. I think it may be that box that we just didn't blow up. All these have weapons in them. Most importantly, an RCP-90. Which, you know, as I described in the previous level. Or a previous level, the train level, is extremely powerful. Probably better than the assault rifle, but I was so proud of myself for discovering this trick. So you blow up that box, and another smaller box comes out. And then another smaller box comes out. And then a third smaller box comes out. You blow that up, and it turns out it has another AR-33, which means you can dual wield these things. And it looks just completely insane. It makes Bond look like a character from Contra or something, and it's awesome. See, I think I came through there, and then I go... no, maybe not. My inability to remember these last couple... Oh, there's the... Okay, so this is... It is a code. Key code. Shouldn't call it that. That's very difficult to say. Did I miss something? I don't think so. I know you're supposed to go through... What is that go? Is this just a big loop? Let's see here. Nothing over there. There's a little break room that I just blew up. Maybe it requires 2 key cards to get through that door. Because I think this just, yeah, that just goes out into that big spiral room, and I know I need to be on the other side of that. This game and the Konami Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games are the only 2 games that I can think of where they weave the very brief theme song into every single piece of music in the game. Like every piece of music in this game sounds like it is a version of the main James Bond theme. See, surely you don't have to use the radio here. I don't... Have I failed Q in some way? Let's see. One of the other things that you can do in this game, if you need to, if you were not a person who has played the game 30 times, is you can just read through all of this like background and briefing and stuff like that, and some of it can be very helpful. Satellite communication dishes exposed. If you shut down the water pumps, Janice will be unable to hide it again. Destroy the servo controls consoles close to the pumps, and be sure to disable the master console. And then, of course, here, every mission ends with Moneypenny saying something horny about James Bond, which is lore accurate. Yeah, I'm going to be honest here. I'm totally lost. I feel like I have missed something or forgotten something. And cannot move forward, but that's basically the Caverns level. It's short and easy and not particularly interesting. We're just going to skip that. Straight to the cradle. From the grave to the cradle. Eventually, while you're running here, the auto-aim points your gun up for you. And that was a trick that I learned when I was a kid to make it easier to shoot that guy without getting shot. Oh, hey, fellas. Let's see. What are the actual... Destroy the control console and settle the score. There we go. That's all it took. unload on this guy. He's, I guess, Sean Bean, so he's used to dying. He dies in everything he's in. The pin pushers, which is definitely what they call them, not pencil pushers. Okay, and now you've shot me enough for me to run to the final area, so I'm going to get down there, and I'll see you then. James Bond's rocking out. Boom. Yeah, son. All right. And that is Goldeneye. Now we're back in the jungle, and we're going to kiss briefly. Fun fact, apparently, Shigeru Miyamoto asked Rare if this game could end with James Bond visiting all of the people he killed in the hospital, showing that they all lived and were okay, and everybody's friends at the end. Which is so adorably naive for that time that I don't know if that's even true. As you can see here, David Doak does get credited as Dr. David Doak, and that is because he is actually a doctor. Before he got into game design, he was a biochemist. The elevator music, which might be my favorite piece of music in this game, was composed by Robin Beanland, who did most famously the Banjo-Kazooie games. The Q Branch 16. In Nintendo. This is where I learned that that phrase, James Bond will return, is in all of the movies. Or I think all of them, anyway. 007 and his fancy hat. Natalia Simonova. Alec Trevelyan. Janus operative Xenia Onatop. Arkady Oramov. Boris Grishenko. Valentin Zukovsky, and the Mish as himself. Yeah, all these faces very much look like just guys that were around the office, and I'm about 99% sure that that's actually what they are. I think they just took photos of people that work there. I hope that that person is not a real person. And I don't want to be mean here, but that is one of the most horrific looking faces I've ever seen in my life. Looks like the Crow. Or he looks like the Crow's loser dad. Alrighty. Well, that is the bulk of GoldenEye 007. Hated having to cop out on that Caverns level, but I didn't want to play it again, and I have a feeling if you're watching this that you probably didn't want to watch me play it again. It's a very dull, brown level that's just me running from one side to the other. The Moonraker Elite, who of course at this point we have not met, Mayday, I'm trying to think if Mayday is even in the game anywhere. I know Oddjob's not. Baron Samedi is. In any case, that is GoldenEye, and hope you enjoyed playing a little bit of GoldenEye with us today. Sitting at about an hour and 40 minutes, so I guess that's something. Probably be back soon, possibly with a sequel to this. I may need to go through and play some Perfect Dark sometime soon. So yeah, if you enjoyed that and are looking forward to a Perfect Dark video, then make sure to like and subscribe. Really helps us out. And feel free to check out our website, vintagegeek.com, where you can learn more about becoming a member and all the benefits that entails, as well as information about visiting our physical museum. You can actually come and I will tell you a lot of stuff about all of these video games and computers that we have here. So, yeah. Bye, everybody.